Hello, everyone. Jason Fuller, Chief Flight Instructor for Excel Aviation here in beautiful Evansville, Indiana. So, what I want to talk to you today is a little bit about our career commercial flight program and the differences a little bit between Part 61 FAA flight training and Part 141 FAA flight training. Now, both different types of training are the same. They are both flight training, and they're both going to take you to the exact same ratings and the exact same levels that you would be for either program. Each program has its differences. Some have positives on one side and negatives, and the other one has positive and negatives as well. So I just want to brief down my opinion of a few perks and a few negatives between the two different programs, and then let's talk about how our Part 61 program might be more beneficial to you than any other program that's out there. So first off, let's start with Part 61. What's that mean? Well, it's the FAA regulations. In there you have that Part 61, so it's the number 61. Then we have Part 141, so that means the regulations chapter 141. So Part 61 states that basically, in layman's terms, that any person with a flight instructor rating can teach someone to be a pilot. It's about as simple as it gets. I personally have a flight instructor rating. I have an instrument rating as well to teach students for their instrument rating. So I can do private pilot training, I can do instrument pilot training, I can do commercial pilot training. I can also teach CFI and CFII flight instructor ratings, all of which I can do on my own. My rating states that I can teach you to do that. Now, how I do that, Part 61 again regulates the information that has to be taught, but it's just an outline form. Very basic, this, and this. I have to teach airspace, I have to teach aerodynamics, but it doesn't outline how I do it. That's all up to me. Under my certification as a flight instructor, I can choose how to lay out that program. I can choose how to lay out to do the ground school. I can choose to have you do it online and me do none of it. But I get to choose every aspect to that training. Okay? I can be good at it. I can be terrible. I can provide you a syllabus. I can not provide a syllabus, and you could show up to the airport and I could just say, I think we're going to do this today. So that's a good and bad. One, good, I get to decide how you're going to learn to fly. I can take the way you're learning and adapt it to you. But the negative, if I don't do that, you can get that guy that just says, I don't know what we're going to do today. Let's just go fly and feel it out. So that's terrible training. And that's the issue with Part 61 is you don't know what you're getting. You could have great flight instructors, but you can also have not so great flight instructors. And that becomes a problem. So there's ups and downs on that simplistic side of Part 61. So a lot of Part 61 programs get looked down at because of that. Now, Part 141. So 141 is a federal accredited program, which means there's a lot of time, effort, and money put into going with the FAA and getting a curriculum that is certified, that says this is good, this you can use it. Now, I have currently operate through 141 and have a 141 program. We may or may not keep that program because there is a lot of downsides. Back to the this student comes in and they're learning this and they're not really learning it this way. So as a flight instructor, I decide, you know what, I'm gonna move on, go and teach something else and we'll come back to it. Well, Part 141 doesn't allow that. Lesson 1 says I have to do this, and it has completion standards. Now, as I go through that, if you're not meeting completion standards, I can't move you forward. We have to keep redoing and redoing. And even as a flight instructor, I know that if I just skip it, go over here and do something else, and then come back to it, you're probably going to be fine. 141 locks me in, says, hey, you can't do that. You have to stay here. Every lesson's outlined. So that's a downside of 141. I prefer not to teach in 141. It's got my hands tied. I do not like it. But from you as a consumer or someone looking into it, at least you know you're going into a curriculum that does have a path, has a way to go. Part 61 instructor, you don't know that. The FAA hasn't reviewed that and said, hey, I like this path. So if you're doing Part 61, you want to know or interested in it, you need to make sure you're talking with that instructor and say, hey, do you have curriculum? Let me see it. How are you going to make this path work? If it's just some guy on the street or at your local airport, you're probably not going to get your best training, and that is going to be a problem, especially when you're looking into career path, because one of the big goals with career path is organization, something that's got you from zero to finish line, and you know how you're going to get there. And that's something we do here. We specialize in that personalized career path program, but not only that, personalized individual program if you're just looking from one rating to the other, but also we can put it all together for you. Hey, another big difference as we move into here, this career path look only, is the way you collect your hours. Now, one would argue Part 141 is better because if you have that certified career path program with those different levels, there are some reduced requirements in 141, which, okay, I get that. Hey, commercial, let's take this all the way out. Career path, you want to be a commercial rated pilot. Commercial meaning not airline commercial. FAA commercial means you can get paid, okay? Part 61 curriculum and training requires you to log in total 250 hours, period. All of your flight time has to get to at least 250 till you can apply for that rating. Now take it over to Part 141. Part 141 says, based on your curriculum, we may certify it as low as 190 hours total time to get your commercial rating. So one would say, hey, that's better. That's 60 hours less. Well, you got to watch that. It may be 60 hours less, but how much are you paying to reduce it by 60 hours? That's one side of it. Two, okay, I'm reducing it by 60 hours, but what am I losing with not doing that 60 hours? Okay, and I can get into that further here in a little bit. So that's just if they're at 190. The curriculum that we follow in our 141 currently is 220 is the minimum flight hours till you can apply for that commercial rating throughout those. We can even step this back and look at it from instrument. From an instrument rating, it states that if you've done private 141 and moved right into instrument, you no longer have to have the normal 50 hours of piloting command cross country. It's just whatever the curriculum hands. So as a private pilot in training, you may only get 5 to 8 hours of cross country time. As you go in to get your instrument, you're required now to have a total of 50 under Part 61 or the personal side training. So you have to go out beyond doing your instrument training, which you might get 8 to 10 hours during your instrument training to add into that 5 to 8 hours you have a private pilot. So we're looking at least 30 hours of outside training that is required for you. It's not even training, outside flight time that says, hey, I'm bettering myself as a pilot. I'm going places. That way I can be a better instrument pilot. Well, 141, if the curriculum allows, says, hey, all you got to do is the cross countries that you've done. Okay, hey, I just saved that flight time. Yeah, hold back here. We're talking career path. In the career path, your time is valuable to you because you want a job. And there are some key points to getting a job or getting farther along. And PIC cross-country time is an important time. Okay, that counts for something. Nighttime is an important time. Instrument time with the instruments only, with a blinder on or actual in the clouds, those are important times. Well, here we go. We're going into 141. It says, hey, let's reduce your cross-country requirement. Let's reduce your night requirement. That doesn't help you in your end career. All of a sudden, yeah, Part 141, I'm a commercial pilot. I can go get a job. You kind of get laughed at because like, okay, you got a commercial ticket, but your total time's very low. That's not gonna be helpful. How come you have 100 less cross-country hours than this guy over here? Well, because I did the accelerated 141 program that didn't have me do it. But I can't hire you. I can't insure you. You know, you have some significant problems. 141 leaves you with very, very big issues of they're not providing you these valuable hours. But the problem is they think the time in 141 is very valuable. So you pay almost double to be in a 141 school. So your amount that you invest into that rating and that flight hours is super high. But the time you got was worth half what you did for the half price flight time. So it's completely a financial loss and a future loss by going into a 141 program. Now let's step out of this. Let's go to Part 61 because Like I said, I'm not a big fan of 141. I think you're killing yourself on that. You're really down on what you're doing. It's a bad investment into your future. We're going to even talk about how when you time build across all of it, somehow you got to get to these total flight hours. 141 has high restrictions. Let's go part 61. Okay, we're here at Evansville, Indiana, Excel Aviation. We can do part 61. We can bring you in. Now, I do not have any extreme guidelines on requirements, how often you fly, how little you fly. We are going to leave that up to you. Okay, so that's a good thing from one perspective. Now, there are other facilities, mainstream facilities, that require you to quit your job, require you to come live on site. They require you to be there X amount of hours every single day. That's great. I wish I could force my students to do that. But if you want to do it, let's do it. But if you don't want to and you still want to go through it, let's do it that way too. We have a fully one-on-one. We build the program to you. I mean, how great is that? On top of that, we're basically half price anyone. Okay, I'm going to tell you currently right now, you can come into our program, say, I want to be a commercial pilot, meaning I want to get paid as a pilot. I want to be a career path. Okay, so that tells us you're going from 0 hours, you got nothing, and you're going to 250 the minimum. So all of that we're going to bulk in. We can do that for 50,000, okay, or less. 50,000 is kind of on the high side. We have ways for you to work in that you timeshare some, but also we teach you some ways to find ways to save money. Okay, there is no reason that you have to pay 100% of all your flight time. It's 100% legal to take some friends with you on a trip and have them share that cost. You put another friend in the plane, you pay 50%, they pay 50%. They don't have to be a pilot or anything. They can just help you pay for your expenses. Put 3 people in the plane, that's even better, because now you only have to pay your prorate share legally, which is 1/3. So now you get some friends, say, hey, you guys want to go to the coast? Let's go have lunch on the coast. I got to get flight time anyway, so let's just fly across country from Evansville, Indiana to Gulf Shores. Let's go have lunch at the coast, and then let's fly back. You know, how cool is that? You can do that. And even better, you're going to log, let's say, 7 hours round trip. But instead of paying for 7 hours rental, you get a couple buddies to go with you, charge each one of them 1/3. You pay 1/3. They pay, each one of them pay 1/3. Now you just log 7 hours in your logbook, and you only paid for about 2.5 to 3 of those hours. Now that's a pretty great way to save a lot of money throughout your time here at Excel Aviation, trying to build your flight time and get all of those ratings. Okay, so what's this mean, build flight time? I know I'm jumping around. I love to jump around. I get in front of a camera or a class, and I'm all over the place. It is what it is. So let's talk about this. We have private pilot rating. That's your first one. You got to start with that. That's pretty standardized, straight through. Okay, so that's like the trunk of the tree of flight training in career path, is that private pilot. You got to get it. Can't do much without it. What's really neat about our flight path, our curriculum with our private pilots, we have a curriculum for just the guy who wants to do it for fun, and then we have our career path. We like the career path because we know that we've got you. You need your 250, and we know that you're going to be an advanced pilot. So we take that opportunity through your private pilot training. Maybe the weather's a little down for this guy over here, but you know what? You're going to need that later anyway, so let's go do it now. Why not? We can use that to our benefit, make you a stronger private pilot, because we know what your future is going to be later on, and that's just an amazing feature for us. Also, we can spend extra time training different maneuvers, again, preparing for that future. So when you go into your private pilot check ride and exams, you're going to be better off. You're going to get through them quicker, less likely to have an issue, save money on retest fees, but also saving money at the end because you're getting stuff done nice and early, and that's a big key. Now, it's a well-known fact. Getting check rides in, your final exam with the DP, a designated pilot examiner, they're hard to come by. Okay, some people are quoting 5 to 6 months in advance waiting for those. Now, we've been very lucky. I have some good friends here at Evansville that are DPs. They've been willing to work with us. We are not special. They do nothing major for us, but they do help us get within maybe 30 to 45 days. Now, what are other places do? They put you in a holding pattern. You're sitting, waiting, doing a little practice here or there. You know, the first thing we do, start flying cross countries, solo cross countries. while you're waiting in line, waiting for your time to get a private pilot license, we send you on many cross countries. If your career path, build your flight time. You got to get to 250 somehow. So we're going to send you out. We're going to put you on your cross countries. They are PIC cross countries, so they help you in your instrument, they help you in your commercial, and they help you get a job later. That is valuable flight time. They are all day hours that we have you do. But we just start going, hey, while you're waiting, just do that. Guess what? You're becoming a more experienced pilot. So again, when you come up to that first exam, when you're nervous, the first time actually seeing how you're tested, but now you have all this extra flight time, all this extra experience, hey, it's a lot easier. And you're accelerating yourself to that end goal. Okay, so private pilot, we're looking at 50, 60 hours maybe to get through your private pilot training. Government says 40, no one's finishing that quick. Even if you could, why? You need flight time. So we're looking 50, 60 hours. That's private pilot, that's the trunk. Now once you get your private pilot, now you got a lot of branches going off because you do have your instrument rating next. So that's gonna allow you to fly in the clouds. Well, instrument rating says you have to have 40 hours of simulated or actual instrument training before applying. We use all those hours for you to learn instrument approaches and holding and cross countries and all that stuff. No big deal. Also states you have to have 50 hours of pilot in command cross country time. Well, lo and behold, if all goes as planned, you got a bunch of that padded already because you did that waiting on your private pilot check ride. But also now you're a private pilot, you can carry passengers. So you start flying friends, family members, go to lunch, fly to lunch. Every other facility that I talk to, those mainstream, I'm not going to call out names, you know you can't carry passengers on all those flights. You spend $100,000 with someone and they never let you take someone with. You can't take mom and dad out for a joyride. Need those hours. Okay? Here, we want you to. I look at you like, why are you flying by yourself? That's boring. Get out there, find someone, have some friends. Hey, I know somebody that'll probably love to go along. Do that. And then also you can use that prorate share usage so that you can save some of your money. But my goodness, it is boring to fly by yourself, and it's ridiculous that these places are charging that money and lock you in. No, you can't do any fun flights. You can't pick where you want to go. Go to Gulf Shores. I had one guy decide to take 5 days, and he went out, spent 2 days going straight out west, and then turn around and come back. Got to see what the mountains look like. Did those things. Gonna spend the money anyway. And you know what? That's more valuable hours than flying in your local area with no one. Why are we holding you guys back from becoming pilots? From being in charge? Like, not a facility telling you what to do. There's a plane. Reserve it. Do what you want with it. Because that's time building. Because here we are. You got 50, 60, 70 hours as a private pilot. We're training you as your instrument pilot. That's another 40, 50 hours. So we're up to, in actual training, let's just say on the high side, 120 hours. But we're dangling this 250 total flight time. So we're up to about 120 hours of actual class work. Okay, so now I'm still dangling 130 hours out here. It's like, what are those hours? Okay, so commercial. Now we step to that third level, commercial training. Commercial training only requires 20 hours of actual instruction. The training side is 20 hours. Now, we all call all those extra hours commercial. We just call it time building. You hear the word time building a lot. You go to in 141, it's called commercial training, which is ridiculous in 141 how they do that. No passengers, no places to go, fly in circles and practice landings. It's the worst curriculum, and there's a lot of washout, a lot of people that quit. It's boring, it's tiresome, it's hard to do. And to be restricted, I've got this pilot's license, I got this instrument rating. I can't take anyone with me. I can't go where I want to go. I can't take that trip I want to go on. Come on, that's just ridiculous. Come out here to Part 61 where we say, hey, you got a private pilot certificate. You're not done with your private waiting. Hey, you know what? You need cross-country time. Why don't you go here? Oh, you can't take a buddy with you yet. Oh, you want to go to lunch by yourself over here? Great, go for it. Build some flight time. Now you're in your instrument training. You're doing that. You also still got a time belt because here I go. rambling here, but we got 60 in private maybe. We got 60 on high side on instrument. There's 120. We got 20 for commercial. Woohoo! So we're up to 140 hours. There's still 110 hours. 110 hours they're your hours. Here at Acceleration, they're your hours. You have 110 hours that you need to time build. Do what you want with it. Grab a plane, grab some friends, go on vacation. In our younger crowd, we tell the parents, I'm like, parents, make a trip out of it. If you're helping your child cover their costs for their career, which most do, why are you paying for them to go buzz around the sky? Pay them to take you to lunch somewhere. Here we're in Evansville, run to Indy for the day. Why don't you just go to Indy, go shopping for the day and come back? They get flight time that you were spending anyway. Now you did something with it. Like, have fun with that. I already talked about grabbing a few friends, going on a trip. Regularly, I can tell you in my training, all I did, I would get up in the morning and grab the plane. I'm like, all right, where am I going? I would go to Gulf Shores for lunch, come home. Okay, now once I became an actual pilot, night time's important hours. Important hours are cross country, instrument, and at night. So what do you think I did? I would fly somewhere during the day, go have dinner, and then I would come back at night. Okay, I wouldn't just go circle. I wouldn't be in that mainstream program that says, no, today you're going to go and you're going to do 6 slow flights and you're going to do this. And you're like, I've done 7,000 of them. Why am I still bored? Why do I have to take this guy with me I don't like so we can timeshare for full price? That's not how we do it. Do it. It's your plane, your hours. The planes are there. Reserve them, take them, go. Do what you want. Okay? We have different tiers of planes here. We have the cheapies, base trainers. Then you can get the advanced trainers with the instruments. We even have the Aero. We have complex training here. Some people do choose to use the Aero more because complex retractable landing gear hours, those are more valuable. So you can choose to do that. Even if you were to put in 50 to 60 hours of your time in our retractable landing gear aircraft, you're still barely going into the $50,000 range, okay? And those rates, I mean, my rates would have to go way up before they even change much from that. It is super important that you think about your future. You think about not only, well, I need to get those ratings. Everyone's going to get you there. Is my private instrument or commercial certificate that you get from here different than the one you get from Embry-Riddle University? No, it's not different. Now, I'm not going to sit back and say that you get in an interview and that guy went to Embry-Riddle. He's going to pick someone from Evansville, Indiana training to Embry-Riddle. I mean, that's just part of it. But that's not so big anymore. There's a lot of jobs. And at the end of the day, they have to look at that logbook. They have to see, are you insurable? Number 1. 2, do you meet those regulations? And 3, how good of a pilot will you be for us? Now, if I hire people, if I look in a logbook and I say, okay, you learned at that mainstream facility that has 900 pilots a month come out of it. Okay, they must be good. But wait a minute. I see here you've went to 7 whole airports in 1,500 hours. Your entire time. You did all your training and then you taught at that facility. And you went to 7 airports in this country. Huh. Well, look at that. How many times you take grandma up for a ride or what have you done? Well, I've never flown anyone except another student at my facility or the students I taught. That's kind of weird. So you've never been in charge of a flight? Well, I was a flight instructor. But did you have to go to the airport, have other people's lives at risk with you, and you had to make all those decisions, no one overseeing, no one saying that flight, no one setting limits and saying, you can't take our planes to this. You were in charge. You made that flight. How many of those flights did you make? 0. Why would I hire that guy? Why wouldn't I hire the guy that learned at a local airport, that flew at a local airport, then also chose, hey, wow, you got some crazy flights in here. Oh, you went here? Oh, yeah, me and my buddy, we flew out west and we went snow skiing. Then we decided to fly back. I needed to build 20 hours. So you know what? That's what I did. I flew out to Salt Lake City and then I came back. Wow, that must have been a great experience. What'd you learn about that? Oh, I learned this and that. Who's going to be a better pilot? I mean, come on. Who's a better pilot that way? Why would you go to those facilities? I have 2 instructors that went to one of those mainstream facilities, both in debt, over $100,000. I had to spend 15 hours with each of them, training them how to actually be a pilot and a flight instructor for me. Okay? You know what? Those guys learn one way and it drills it in like a drill sergeant. I'm not saying they're not bad pilots, but it's a side that, golly, I couldn't do it. I just couldn't do it. I could not teach anyone that way. Every single student here is different. You have to lay it out that way. But also we have to be wide spectrum. I am teaching you career path to be a pilot, but I am not teaching you to be this one pilot in this one airplane. We're teaching you to fly people, fly your friends, fly your family. Here at Excel Aviation, if we are not gonna put our brother, our sister, our mother in a plane with you, then guess what? We're not gonna sign that logbook. You are not prepared and we didn't do our job. Okay, that is my requirement throughout our curriculum and through everything. Now, you choose to come here, that's wonderful. We would love to have you. We are a pay-as-you-go facility. There is no lump sum you pay up front. We don't do any of that. You come in, you put a credit card on file, you pay it. Now, yes, I'm gonna go with the next step. Financing. 50 grand is still a lot of money. 100 grand's twice as much as that. I don't care how high interest is. A loan for 50 grand or a loan for $100,000, all instead of figuring out how to pay 50, there's no amount of interest. I mean, there is, but that's a lot of interest to pay off that difference. And on top of that, you spend $100,000 for hours. You get no cross country. It didn't take anyone. Like, they're terrible hours or worthless hours. And you paid all that money. You didn't get to do anything with it. Nothing. Like I said, I have experience with this. I have someone on my staff. I was just talking to him before doing this video. He says, I am $118,000 in debt, and my mother never got to fly with me. Is that not sad? Come on, think about it. That's just sad right there. So don't do that. Don't do that to yourself. Come here, talk to us. We can do something about that. Now, we do have some financing options. We work with a company, really great company. They've looked at my curriculum, look at my track record, and also are offering to finance people all the way through the curriculum. Of course, you got to meet certain standards. Now, I like the way they finance because it's really an interesting program. It's almost like a credit account, like a credit card. They don't pay me a lump sum. They don't pay you a lump sum. They give you a running tally, and they, based on your payment, if you want a really low payment, then they restrict how many flights per week you do. If you're willing to make a big payment, then they allow more flights. But to give you an idea, average lesson flight hour, we're, $150 an hour, let's say. So you're budgeting $300 a week. Maybe that's your budget to come fly. If in a perfect world, you have all the money up front and you're just running it through us, but that doesn't happen very often. So you're gonna do that. Well, with this financing plan, you may pay for one lesson a week out of your bank account, but you get to fly 3 lessons a week. So you're gonna get done quicker, you're gonna build those hours, and you're gonna be able to get to a job quicker and then pay it back. Okay, it's kind of a different scenario of the finance plan. When I called them, it's 2 pilots that realized that there was no great way to finance to become a pilot. AOPA has a program. There's a few others. They're very expensive. They don't finance much of your training, and the interest rates are through the roof. This place isn't that bad. And also, once you pay off, they give you 5% of your 5% cash back, I think is what they said, off your interest. So that's pretty good. 5% of the interest paid comes back to you for paying in full. This is something we can talk about. You want to come in and talk about, we can talk about that, okay? There is no requirement. We have the planes, we have the instructors, we have the time. We are ready for anyone to come in here, set a schedule that they want to do. When you come here, you're going to get an advisor. You're going to get someone that looks out for you. Most likely it'll be me. And I'm going to make sure that you're doing what you need to do. I'm going to always be there to help you throughout your plan. I'm going to be checking in on you. Hey, are you getting what you need to do? Are your goals being met, or our goals for you are changing? How can we help you through that? We work together. If you're struggling with any, we have people to oversee and to help you through that plan so you can hit your goal. Now, you get to 250 hours, you get your commercial rating. What do you do with it? Well, most people move on to be a flight instructor. Yes, we teach CFI and CFII right here as well. And we can do that. Some people do get to work with us. Obviously, I can't hire every single person. No company can hire every person that they teach all the way through, but we will help. We are building a network. We have a lot of students that have moved on. I have people from the military to the airlines, it all across the board. And because we're a fun little facility here and people work together and we fly together and we talk and we meet and greet, we have group ground schools. You're going to make friends and you're going to have connections in those industries as you're moving along to help you connect to each one. So we do have the big network that continues to grow. Every month it grows bigger and bigger. So a lot we can do with you here. So if you have any questions, or hopefully I rambled, but got a lot of info for you. Think about where you're learning to fly. Be careful, especially young. Be careful going into something and just say, oh, this mainstream, they teach pilots. But sit down and look at what you're spending. Look at what you're getting for that money. What do you get to do? To me, it blows my mind that you're going to go in there. You're going to get a 240, 250, whatever the number is. And you're not carrying past. You don't have 110 hours that are yours, because you are. You have 110 hours, give or take, that are your hours. It's time building hours. How are you time building? Okay, I hope that you're time building by going wherever you feel like it, taking whoever you want, and finding ways to save money. I hope no one gets too deep into 50,000. I'm pretty sure you shouldn't, because there are so many ways and availability for you to find discounts, to find some time sharing, and to fly your friends and family places. They're going to have fun. You're going to have fun, and it could help you sublet some of this expense for you to get through all of this. There's no way around it. You got to put the money in to get the money out of it. Hopefully we can keep you on the cheap side coming through it. Okay, I'm going to end with this. There's no reason to learn to drive in a Ferrari to go destroy when you're going to come out and you're not going to fly Ferraris. Okay, and what that means is, yes, we all would love to fly a brand spanking new airplane, but you're going to pay for that airplane for those hours, and it's going to be meaningless. You spent all that money to fly that fancy airplane, but then your first job is going to be on something that's not that fancy. How do we keep our costs down? We have great little Piper Cherokees. I'm a Piper fan. Okay, we have our own maintenance facility, top-notch maintenance. We have 3 different mechanics that we work with. Some of them are actually head of maintenance in some big departments and big organizations, and they come and work on our airplanes for us. Maintenance is top. I fly the airplanes. I have kids. I can tell you I will be home at the end of the day. And that's what you want out of a place. You want a place that the guy who pays for that maintenance also sits in those airplanes. Just going to put that out. Because that's a big safety key. Planes are safe. We're going to make them safer. We run a lot of non-glass cockpit because that's important. Glass cockpit makes you complacent, makes for some terrible pilots. Most of ours, we will continue to keep mostly old gauges because it makes you a much stronger pilot. And again, look to that future. Not every plane has glass cockpit. A lot of them are old. It's very easy to go from old to new. Those guys who learn new can barely get backwards to old. And that's another big aspect of getting jobs. Look to that future. We do have glass in some and we do have not. We keep our costs down by doing things like that. Great airplanes, great maintenance, but they're not the brand new luxury liners out there. Why you would want to learn in that luxury liner, I can see why, but I can tell you, why do you want to pay for it when it gets you nowhere? You got nowhere at the end. There's no level different. No one's getting you anywhere that the other place can. Okay? So, I've rambled. Hopefully you learned a little bit from me. Hopefully you'll give us a look at, if you're not from locally here in Evansville, I've taught some people that own properties and different things. We can help you come into town. I'm going to tell you, we can get you here. We can get you in a rental place, get you some transportation, because the amount of money you're going to save and amount of fun and real flight time you're going to get here will be well worth your time to look into that. So give us an email, give us a shout, give us a text, and we will try to do our best to do anything we can for you in your future in aviation.
Hey, oh!